Well, well, well. Look at all you black sheep cycle breaking baddies showing up to this divination ceremony that is specially curated for us. We are asking the question, where does our attention need to be today in order to bring the most expansion in our relationship with our life and our practice? My name is Jen Marie. I am an initiated high priestess and sorceress of chaos, witchborn of shadow, and you are going to be just as much a part of this divination ceremony as I am. I refuse to engage with you as if you don't have access to the same information I do. So it'll be an us thing. It'll be wonderful. How are you feeling right now? How is this full moon influencing your system? Because, wow. That's all I got to say. Wow. It's a big day here at the homestead. For those of you that don't know, I live with members of my coven on an 80-acre homestead. And today, the mobile vet is coming to take a look at all the critters. And it's very exciting. Yeah. Okay. Is the energy intense today for you too? Same. It's not that it feels auspicious, but it feels shifted and like I am needing to get my bearings is kind of the feel. So know that as we get into this. Oh my. Okay. On that note, I didn't actually check in with Ocean to see All right, no voice of God announcements today. We have had we've had so many witches pouring into the free public app space that we created to connect with other neurodivergent black sheep cycle breaking queerdos so that we can actually get to know each other, exchange information, and set up systems of mutual aid. We have free public rituals. We have a ritual rave that is public, and it is so much fun to raise energy for our collective manifestations by dancing together. We have what's called SAS. It's a spirituality and support symposium. And it's where witches from all over the world get together to talk about their lived experience as magical practitioners. And you can ask questions. It's a free exchange of information and support. And we have had so many witches pouring into that app space that we're towing the line of having to adjust our subscription for the subscription, meaning the back end subscription, to allow for even more members to come in. And that's a really cool problem to have, by the way. I'm thrilled about it. I'm thrilled to be able to get to know everyone that's coming in. Here we go, guys. Here we go. I told you by summer, we are going to be collectively celebrating big, massive things. And in fact, the more we show up sincerely in our lives and engaging with our lives in a way that we're proud of, the braver we are, the more we're going to have to celebrate in June. So let's see what is in store for us today. Where does our attention need to be? I'm going to start by taking 3 deep breaths, and then I'm going to do what I do to prepare my system for divination, my mind, body, spirit for divination. If you're like, what is she doing? I wrote a grimoire that explains why I'm doing all of the things that I'm doing. It's called the Grimoire of the Ungovernable, and it is available on the website, our website, brightanddark.org. And it outlines a tradition that we're calling the path of a witch born of shadow. It is very specifically for neurodivergent, black sheep, cycle breaking outcasts. And all of the proceeds from the digital sales of this grimoire go directly to the operations of the resource center. So there. All right, let's do this. Stim if you need to. I humbly invite all that is fire within this system to witness this working. And if alignment is found, may you choose to bless this flow. I humbly invite all that is air within this system to witness this working. And if alignment is found, may you choose to bless this flow. I humbly invite all that is earth within this system to witness this working. And if alignment is found, may you choose to bless this flow. I humbly invite all that is water within this system to witness this working. And if alignment is found, may you choose to bless this flow. I beckon to this system. May we now align as one. For my cousins are the elements, and so the moon and sun. I call to those who love me. You are welcome in this space. For our nature is united, sharing magic, life, and grace. And now we do a declaration of intention. I'm going to say it in a way you can do this like call and repeat, but you don't have to. It's important that you say something that's meaningful to you. I choose now in this moment to align with my whole self. To pull the book that tells my story from its place upon the shelf. I enter now this circle made of trust and hope and power. And I show up for my practice in this place and at this hour. Because I am home. All right. Let's do this. What I find interesting. Okay, first of all, I don't know if do the witches watching the recording see the comments, or do they just see me? Okay, so watching the recording, you're not going to know what I'm talking about. There's a great conversation happening in the comments, and the conversation is, we're having like I said before, a bunch of witches from all over the world showing up in the app space that we created. Some of those witches are going to feel called to actually like initiate into the coven, which is a whole process. It's a really pretty intense process that is really well supported by the community. It's a process of helping witches go from a patriarchal worldview to a matriarchal worldview so that they can engage more sincerely with their magical practice within a community. So that being said, up until about, it's been an international space for many years now. And the problem with having an international community is the times, right? Because we're all over the place. And so what ends up happening is that the witches that are in the Southern Hemisphere or not in the like continental United States area, they end up having to like go to meetings and stuff in the middle of the night. And like it's been a whole thing for many years, but we haven't had any of these international witches feel called to actually host meetings or go through the process so that they can learn to be able to show up for their local witches as well. Does that make sense? And so I find it fascinating that we're having so many, like the ratio of international witches is higher than the like US based witches than it's, I think, ever been. And I don't think that that is by chance. It feels significant that maybe we're finally going to get that group of international witches that are like, you know what? This is a problem. And I think I can do something about it. And I be so stoked about that. All right. We are asking, where does our attention need to be today in order to bring the most expansion in our relationship with our life and our practice? Yeah, I agree with you that the basic problems like patriarchy are universal. Yeah, I know. And look at us all doing something about it. It's very exciting. Okay, so card on the top of the deck represents the answer to our question, where does our attention need to be? Card on the bottom of the deck represents how we're getting in our own way, basically. The Four of Swords upright is the card that we drew. No, I am going to read the prompt that's on that card. As I do, ask yourself if your guides were using this card to communicate a facet of your relationship with your life. What are they talking about? I'm going to let you brew on that for a moment so that you can begin to repair your relationship with your intuition. Then I'm going to influence you with my interpretation, okay? The upright Four of Swords is telling you to kick back and relax. Whether you're emerging from battle or you've been putting in too many hours at work, you're overdoing it and need to take a breather. A period of rest will allow you to reemerge with renewed strength and focus. And the reversed is, when reversed, the Four of Swords is sending a very strong signal that you need to take a break immediately because you're on the brink of burnout. You may be feeling the need to overdo it, but quiet that storm. If you keep going at this pace, you're going to do some serious damage. So, what does that card mean to you? What are you doing in your life right now that this is like, hey. You got the Three of Swords reversed. Nice. And you got the Three of Swords. Look at all these pokey cards. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, are you ready for me to influence you? Are you done brewing yet? I find it interesting that we're getting this card now in this season, okay? Because for the Northern Hemisphere witches, we're transitioning into a period of a lot of activity, of forward momentum, of things expanding and growing and success and all those things. And our Southern Hemisphere witches are going into a period of rest and of introspection, right? So to pull the Four of Swords right now, and I'm going to speak from a Northern Hemisphere perspective because I have to, right? What I've been saying since I think December, since I first tasted this new sun, no matter what you choose to invest your physical, mental, and emotional labor into this year, it will be wildly successful. Wildly successful. And this investment, you could choose to invest deeper into how you are currently engaging with your life, the way things are, right? To try harder, I guess you would say, how it is. And that will be wildly successful. Is that what you want? Right? Or you can invest in the life of your dreams, whatever that is, and starting to engage with your life in this new way, this scary way. And that will be wildly successful. Okay. The thing about success is that, I'm going to bring it back to a growing food analogy because 'tis the season, right? This is a time that you are planting seeds. You are choosing what you want to be responsible for during this time, right? This time of great success and manifestation and growth. It is a common thing to get really excited and just plant all of the seeds everywhere. and to grow this great big huge lush garden, which is wonderful. But that is a lot of work. And to spread yourself that thin is a one-way ticket to burnout. Because what will happen is that you'll manifest all this. What are you going to do come harvest time? Because there's no way you can actually harvest all of that. In fact, you will be buried under the weight of all of that. Okay. So be mindful of what you invest in. Be selective. Okay. Even if it feels like you're not giving it your all right now, giving it your all will come, because what you are investing in will be, you're allowing yourself space, right? If you are not including rest and rehabilitation in your plans, you are not doing this in a way that is sustainable. You will crash and burn. And then everyone around you is going to need to pick up the pieces because you overshot, and I mean, we all do it. We all do it. Most of us learn the hard way. We all do this, by the way, because we get excited. And now is like this supercharged time where it's like, yeah, I could do anything. I'm going to do all of the things. Tell me you have ADHD without telling me you have ADHD, right? I mean, we all do it. But pause and make some choices, right? Right. Okay. If you do not include rest, rehabilitation, and doom scrolling on your phone isn't rest, it's dissociation. There is a big difference, okay? And if you guilt and shame yourself the entire time that you're supposed to be resting, it doesn't fucking count. It doesn't count because you're not actually resting. You're being really mean to yourself. All right. Now we got to look at what we're in resistance to or in denial of that has us not embracing or accepting the fact that we need rest. The Ace of Swords. Okay, so I'm going to read this. The upright, remember that this is what you're in resistance to or in denial of that is influencing your ability to actually rest, right? The upright positioning of this card is a clear sign of encouragement. You're open to embracing new ideas, so jump freely at the next opportunity with open arms. Keep company with those that offer you inspiration and channel your energy into something that makes your heart happy. And reversed is, you may have a new idea or breakthrough, but you're shielding it from the world. Perhaps you're not sure about how to fully bring it to fruition, or maybe you're afraid to show it to the world out of fear of rejection. The reverse positioning of this card is telling you to reflect on what you want in life or on a particular goal or project. Invest the time into seeking truth from within. Okay. Think of that. What does that feel like for you? I'm giving you time to brew on it. But it's hard because I get all excited about it. This is, I love that this is the card that is chosen for this positioning because it like tickles my brain a little bit on how that fits in. But I have a question for you. Uh, in order for you to like discern what to invest in, uh, this is giving the vibe of like choose something. Like choose something. This is giving the vibe that you know what it is. Like you know what it is. You have clarity about it, but you're not doing it because you're afraid to share it with the world. Right? You're like, "Oh, it couldn't be that." Because like, I don't know, I'm not worthy or whatever it is that you're you're struggling with that. Um because this card is in the resistance or denial of like you being in resistance to or in denial of the fact that you do have clarity with this. You know what it is, but you're not doing it. You are instead investing yourself in all of these shoulds, all of these other things, what you should be, or you feel like you should be investing in because the rest of the world would accept you more in some way, right? This is the acceptable things. But by doing that, you're putting yourself into this Four of Swords situation where you're not actually allowing yourself to rest. And you don't have anything left to invest in the thing that you know you're here to do, but you're too scared to like make it happen. Yeah, Heather says, will your whole self partner with your present choices or investments? You can do this. Well, that was a really speedy reading. Of course it is, right? It's all full moon. What do you got to do? So on the full moon, this is when, in my practice, I do a release of some sort. And I hate how that word release is so diluted that it doesn't really mean anything to anyone. Uh, what I am doing with the full moon is I'm identifying the ways that I've been indoctrinated to believe my world functions in a way that isn't real and is kind of problematic. And usually these beliefs come on in trauma or how we were raised in one way or another. Beliefs like my silence is compassionate, or beliefs like I need to be small in order to be accepted. Right. And so it's it's a never ending process, but it is my birthright to do this work so that I can make sure that that hogwash isn't passed down the line, that it ends with me, right? As I'm doing these releases. So the full moon reveals to me what belief I still carry that is keeping me from being able to fully step into my calling, into alignment with my path, what I'm here to do. Whatever that big decision is that you're doing, I'm doing the big decision stuff too. I have big plans, big dreams, and I'm constantly identifying the ways that I am keeping myself from that, what I actually want. So the full moon, we do a release ceremony. We identify that belief and we give it to the moon, right? In one way or another. All of us do it differently. Whether it's burning, I like to put it on the compost pile, write it down and put it on the compost pile. And then So the ceremony is not the end of the ritual. It's the beginning of the working. It's the declaration. I am going to live as if this belief no longer has hold on me. And so for the next couple of weeks, I am actively identifying where that belief is still coming up and influencing my life. And I am rerouting my neural pathways to something that is aligned for me. No, it's not this, it's this. And you keep doing it. And by the time the new moon comes along, you have course corrected, and now you can see what you want even clearer. And then you do manifestation work, right? You identify what you do want. What belief do you want? How do you want to operate? And you make that declaration with your new moon. We do a ritual rave. It's a lot of fun. And then the next couple of weeks, you choose the manifestation, what you called in. This is what I want. This is what I want. This is what I want. And as you do that, it's going to reveal to you what is still holding you back, what is still clinging to you, so that by the full moon, you can see what you need to let go of so that you can continue to align. Do you see how this working goes like this with the seasons? And you are constantly in this process of letting go and calling in, and letting go and calling in. So that's what we do on the full moon. So what do you need to let go of that has you believing that that in order to get what you want, you have to work yourself to death, right? In what ways are you believing that manifestation is a lot of work, that you have to work really hard and have to compromise your relationship with your physical body, right? Right. I hear you. You're saying, I'm having a really hard time with the fact that I've found a spiritual community. I've already decided I will not do that ever again. So you and me both, cousin. In fact, I ran away to Alaska for almost 10 years the last time I engaged in like big, deep community work like this. I was like, I'm done. I'm so sick of every single group I was engaging with being a reflection of high school, of this like constant competition and addiction and serious emotional immaturity that made it to where the community that I knew was possible in my heart just it couldn't happen. So I ran away to Alaska and then ended up accidentally going viral on TikTok. And here we are. That is very much the short story. When finding a spiritual community, it is so important that you ask questions, lots of questions. Anything that is like, I'm curious about, how do you guys function? How are decisions made that influence the community? You're allowed to ask all of those questions. And if that is not met with acceptance and compassion, then it's a real quick indicator of a hierarchical or culty environment, is how they respond to like questions and stuff like that. In fact, Silver is one of the other support witches in the community that I serve, has flown to Weird Brook, and we are going to be making content specifically for all of these witches that are coming in so that we can explain to you and give you that transparency that you deserve of how are decisions made in this group? What are you guys doing? Like, why are you doing what you're doing? Why is everyone so fucking awesome? We're going to answer all of those questions for you. So, yeah, you're allowed to be nervous. You're allowed to like take your time. You're allowed to require this community to prove to you who they are. Because, yeah, you're allowed to. To not be allowed to do that is a big red flag. Like big, 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 big red flag. All right, guys. Let's close out this working. And I will be back tomorrow morning and we're going to do this again. Silver might even join me. So we might have Silver with us as well doing this divination ceremony. It's always more fun when we have more witches here to dip their toes into all this. All right. So let's close out this working. Hand on your heart and take a deep breath. This working is now closing, but the magic has just begun. I humbly thank the elements and both the moon and sun. To all who chose to bless this flow, I now sincerely thank you. May our practice be expansive and our course be clear and true. All right, witches. Remember, until we meet again, if you can't be good at it. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.